Thanks for joining us. We're going to link our free calendar with another file, and this is the kind of the quickest way to get the calendar in and working in your solution. The calendar is pretty straightforward: day, week, month views, and all these events that you see here. This is the sample data that comes with it, but it's very easy to swap this out for tables you already have. The documentation in the calendar tells you how to paste this whole object into your file. That's this integration thing right here. But what we're going to do is even simpler. We're not going to paste it in. We're just going to link it to another file. And it goes really quick, but I'm going to try and speak slowly and show you how it's done. So the first thing we're going to do is just drag the calendar into the folder that holds our other databases. And you can see here that we've got the Business Productivity Kit from FileMaker. So we're just going to open all this stuff. And we're going to play with the projects section of Business Productivity Kit, because projects have a start date and a due date, and that's all we need to add the project to the calendar. So first thing we do is I'm going to grab a few fields from our sample events table, because the calendar does require a couple fields, and I know that we don't have time fields in the project. So I'm just going to grab my time start, time end, and then I'm going to grab these two timestamp fields. So let's just copy that and then come back to the Business Productivity Kit and hit paste. And now I'm going to take each of these timestamp fields and edit them, and they were commented out when we pasted them in. I'm just going to remove these comments and then kind of follow the instructions here. Okay, so your event's start date. So that's in projects, date start somewhere, start date, and date end, which is due date. And I brought in these fields so I know they're right. I can click OK, and I'll do that with the other calc. So remove the commenting. Okay, the date start again was start date. Right, great. And then time start was the same. So that's done. That's the only change I need to make in projects here. So now let's take a look at the calendar and look at the graph. So in the relationship graph, we see our sample events table here. I love this graph. It's so nice and simple. So all we have to do here is double click on this. I'm going to preserve the name for now by copying it. And I'm going to say, you know what? I want to add a different data source to this file. I want to add my desktop Business Productivity Kit. I want to add the projects table. So there's projects, and then I paste back in the name. This is just to keep the documentation and stuff straight. So there's sample events. Great. So that's all I have to do to the graph. Now I come over to source number one. This is the layout where we map, what do we call things and what are the date fields. And I'm just going to go into layout mode. All the work on this layout is done in layout mode. And I'm just going to change a few things. Okay, so the source name is going to be called projects. And I'm going to use the event details layout. Good. The source type is FileMaker. Okay, so the required fields. So you just double click on each one of these and you map it to whatever is the ID, in our case, in projects here. So I think that's probably their project ID. All right, here's our date start, which we have here. Our time start, which I brought in. Our date end, which is due date. Our summary, this is the field that's going to be the title for the event. I'll probably use project name if I can find it. Name, great. Okay, so the timestamp start, that's this one that I brought in, timestamp start, and timestamp end. And that's this one, timestamp end calc. Awesome. Now there are a couple other fields we can use. The time end, I did bring that over. And a description. I don't know if there's a project description in here. Is there a notes? Oh yeah, description. Great. Okay, so that's done. I enter browse mode and I just kind of quickly scan these tabs to see if they're, all right, the date starts unindexed. I'll have to change that. I think it'll probably index itself as soon as I perform a find on it. So let's run upon opening. Then we go back to our calendar, and when was this project? This is well, let's just switch it to today. So let's say it goes from January 12th to today, January 20th. All right, done. We'll come back over here and go to the month view, and there's our project, 12th Annual Triathlon. And if I make a new project, right, new project, and give it a start date of like January 1st and an end date of January 5th, and come back over here to refresh. There it is, new project. Now we do have to do one more thing, is that when I click on this, I'm coming to an event details layout and these fields are missing. So, all right, what is the ID? And again, it's the project ID. And what is the summary? That was the project name. And what was the description? That was the description. And you can see we're just going to kind of keep going here, do the date start. And I might change this layout so it looks a little different. It says we only need this for multi-day events. It's end date, date end, where are we? Due date, time start. And you know what? I'm going to remove these because we don't even really use these in the business productivity kit. Let's kind of remove these here. I know that I'll have them there for future reference. So there it is, new project. So I click here, I get 12th annual triathlon, new project. Pretty cool. Now what happens if I hold down the shift key and make a new record in here? So let's say I want to make something that starts on the 25th and call it made in calendar. Click close. Then we have now a new project over here, made in calendar on the 25th. So we've completely linked these two things together. And we can go further. There's some notes in the docs about how we can create a button to jump right over from this event into your project. But we don't need to do that now. You can see it's all linked and integrated. You know, the Pro Calendar has a lot more options about color coding and drag and drop, but linking the free calendar this way is probably the fastest way to get started. Hope you enjoyed it.